All right, the 2025 WNBA season's done. And yeah, we saw Caitlin Clark do her thing. Aja Wilson, Napheesa Collier, all the usual suspects dominated like we knew they would. But that's not what we're talking about today. Every year, there's a handful of players who just level up. They go from role players to legit stars. From, oh yeah, she's on that team, to wait, she's actually a problem now. From players you barely notice to players you can't ignore. So today I've got 5 players who had real breakout seasons in 2025. Some of these you probably saw coming. A couple? Nah, you didn't see these coming at all. Let's get into it. Okay, so I'm starting with Kate Martin, and I know what you're thinking. Kate Martin? Breakout? Really? Hear me out on this one. She went from riding the bench on a championship team in Vegas, barely getting minutes, lucky to see the floor in garbage time, to being a real contributor on an expansion franchise. That's a completely different situation, completely different mentality required. And look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you the numbers are crazy. She's averaging like 6-7 points a game for the Valkyries. That's not all-star stuff. That's not going to make any highlight reels by itself. But here's what actually matters. She dropped 21 against the Liberty, career high, and 14 of those came in the fourth quarter, when the game was actually on the line, when the pressure was real. That's the kind of performance that makes you go, oh, okay, she can actually do this at this level. And it wasn't just that one game either. She was taking way more shots throughout the season, like 11, 12, sometimes 15 attempts in a single game. In Vegas, she was lucky to get 5 shot attempts. That's a whole different mindset. That's a player who's being trusted to be aggressive, and she delivered on that trust. Here's the thing about Kate Martin that people forget. The talent was always there. She started 139 consecutive games at Iowa next to Caitlin Clark, longest streak in Division I in 25 years. 4 years of playing winning basketball at the highest level of college hoops. She knows how to play. She knows how to compete. She just needed someone to actually give her a real chance to show it. Golden State did that. They said, here's your opportunity, go prove yourself. And yeah, the Valkyries didn't make the playoffs. They're an expansion team, nobody expected them to, but they way outperformed what anyone thought an expansion franchise could do. Kate Martin was a big part of that. She takes another step next year, and I genuinely think she will. People are going to stop acting surprised when she makes plays. The foundation is there. The work ethic is there. 2025 was just the beginning. All right, this one's kind of wild because NaLyssa Smith played for 3 different teams in 2025. 3 teams in one season. That's usually not a recipe for success, right? That's usually a sign that something's wrong. She started the year in Dallas after getting traded from Indiana back in February as part of that huge 4-team deal. Then June rolls around and boom, the Wings ship her to Vegas for a first-round pick. That's when everything changed. In Dallas, she was putting up like 6.7 points, 4.9 boards a game. Fine, whatever, nothing special. She looked like a player who was never going to live up to being the number 2 overall pick in 2022. She looked like a bust, honestly. People were writing her off. Then she gets to Vegas and immediately, and I mean immediately, looks like a completely different human being. Second game with the Aces, double-double. Just like that. She ended up averaging over 8 points and almost 6 rebounds in like 21, 22 minutes a night for Vegas. But the stats don't even tell the real story. What mattered is she became a defensive force that Vegas desperately needed after some of their roster moves. There's this playoff game against the Fever, the team that originally drafted her, by the way, which adds another layer to this whole thing, where Aja Wilson gets into foul trouble. And NaLyssa Smith just takes over defensively, blocking shots at the rim, grabbing every rebound in sight, doing all the dirty work that doesn't show up in the box score but absolutely shows up in winning. She finished with 16 points and 4 blocks in that game, championship-level performance. Oh, and speaking of championships, she won a ring. That's the thing about breakout seasons, right? Sometimes it's not about the counting stats. Sometimes it's not about points per game or shooting percentages. Sometimes it's about landing in the right spot with the right coach and the right teammates. Smith went from looking completely lost, a player without a home, to being a key contributor on a championship team in the span of a few months. Becky Hammon saw something in her that other coaches didn't. Aja Wilson took her under her wing and showed her what it means to compete at the highest level every single night. And Smith showed up when it actually counted. In the playoffs. On the biggest stage. Vegas better bring her back next year. She's a restricted free agent. And if they let her walk, someone's getting a steal. She's only going to get better from here. Okay, Rickea Jackson was always going to be on this list. If you watched her rookie season in 2024, you knew what was coming. You could see it. She averaged 13.4 points on a Sparks team that won 8 games total. 8 games. On a team that bad, as a rookie, putting up those numbers? That tells you something about the talent level. But 2025 was different. 2025 was the year she stopped being promising and started being a problem. She bumped her scoring up to almost 15 a game, got way more efficient with her shot selection, started knocking down threes with real confidence, not just taking them when she was wide open, but pulling up in rhythm. And she had games where you're watching and you're just thinking, yeah, this girl's going to be an all-star. It's just a matter of time. The game that sticks out to me, the one I keep going back to, is against the Aces in June. This is one of the best defensive teams in the league, right? And A'ja Wilson goes down with a head injury late in the third quarter. Scary moment. Everyone's watching to see how the game plays out. And Rickea Jackson just takes over. Career-high 30 points. Shot 11 of 17 from the field. That's ridiculous efficiency. Hit 4 threes. Against Vegas, against that defense. That's not just a good game. That's the kind of game that announces to the whole league, I've arrived. I belong here. Stop sleeping on me. Now look, I'm not going to pretend the Sparks are good yet. They missed the playoffs again. They've got a lot of work to do as an organization. But they've got pieces now, real pieces. Kelsey Plum came over and brings that veteran scoring presence. Cameron Brink is finally healthy after missing so much time. Dearica Hamby's still doing her thing, still putting up double-doubles. And right in the middle of all that is Rickea Jackson. She just turned 24 years old. She hasn't even come close to scratching the surface of her ceiling yet. The potential is scary. I'm saying all-star within 2 years, maybe sooner if the Sparks can figure out how to win some games. The talent is that obvious. You can't teach the things she does naturally. If there was one obvious most improved player candidate in 2025, it was Kamilla Cardoso. Like, not even close. Nobody else was in the conversation as far as I'm concerned. Her rookie year in 2024 was, fine. It was fine. She dealt with injuries that kept her out of the lineup, missed games, was still getting used to the speed and physicality of the WNBA game after coming from college. She averaged 9.8 points and 7.9 rebounds per game, which is okay for a rookie center. But it's not what you expect when you draft someone 3rd overall. You want more than okay. Then 2025 happened, and everything clicked. Cardoso jumped to 13.6 points and 8.5 rebounds per game. She shot over 53% from the field. That's elite efficiency for any position. She dropped a career-high 27 points against the Sparks, had multiple 20-point games throughout the season, was basically a double-double threat every single night she stepped on the court. And here's what makes it even more impressive. She did this playing next to Angel Reese. Think about that for a second. That's 2 bigs who both want the ball on the block. Both want to operate in the paint. Both need touches to be effective. That's not an easy dynamic to figure out. A lot of front-court duos can't make that work. Kamilla figured it out. She learned how to coexist, how to pick her spots, how to get her numbers without stepping on Reese's game. At 6 feet 7 inches, she's one of the most physically dominant players in the entire league. She's got soft hands around the basket, good footwork on the block, and she's turned into a legit rim protector on the other end. Over a block per game, plus all the shots she altered that don't show up in the stat sheet. The sky is literally her ceiling. Pun absolutely intended. She's only 24 years old. If she keeps developing at this rate, and there's no reason to think she won't, Chicago has something really special on their hands. The Cardoso-Reese frontcourt could be the best in the league for years to come. Give it 2-3 years. We're going to be talking about Kamilla Cardoso as one of the best centers in the W period. The 2025 season was the proof of concept. She showed everyone what's possible. All right, this one might be controversial. I know that. Because Rhyne Howard was already the #1 overall pick back in 2022. Already won Rookie of the Year. Already made All-Star games. Already a known name in this league. So how can she have a breakout season? Here's the deal. Her first 3 years in Atlanta? Inconsistent. That's the nicest way I can put it. She'd go off for 31 night, then disappear for 8 points the next game. The Dream kept missing the playoffs. There were real questions about whether she could actually be the franchise player on a contending team, whether she had that gear. 2025 shut all of that up, completely. Howard averaged 17.5 points, 4.6 assists, 4.5 rebounds per game, all career highs across the board. She was hitting over 3 threes a game. She had a stretch in the middle of the season where she dropped 18 or more points in 6 straight games. And she led Atlanta to a franchise-best 30-14 record, best season in Dream history. But the moment that really put the entire league on notice? June 13th against the Chicago Sky. She hit 9 three-pointers in that game. 9. She tied the WNBA single-game record, finished with 36 points, broke the Dream's franchise record for threes in a single game. One performance, multiple records, and she wasn't even done making history. 2 days later, she became the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 300 career three-pointers, just 114 games. Diana Taurasi took her 124 games. Sabrina Ionescu, 117. Howard did it faster than anyone who's ever played this game. Then in August, she put up 24 points with 6 threes and 6 blocks against Dallas. First player ever, guard, forward, center, doesn't matter. First player ever to record those numbers in a single game. She was making history like every other week. Her coach Carl Smesko, who set his own record for most wins by a rookie head coach in WNBA history, called that 9-3 game a breakout performance. Yeah, no kidding, coach. So what actually changed for Howard in 2025? Part of it was the roster around her. Atlanta added Brittany Griner, brought in Brianna Jones, added some real pieces that could share the scoring load. Howard didn't have to carry absolutely everything by herself anymore. That let her play looser, play more freely, take better shots. But honestly, the bigger change was mental. Watch her film from 2025 compared to previous years. The confidence is completely different. She's not second-guessing her shots. She's not deferring when she should be attacking. She's not passing up looks that she knows she can make. She played like she knew she was the best player on the floor every single night. That's the leap. That's what separates good players from genuine stars, that mental shift. And Howard made it. Yeah, Atlanta got bounced in the first round by the Fever. That stings. Nobody's pretending it doesn't. But Howard proved she can lead a team to real regular season success. She's a restricted free agent now, and whoever signs her, almost certainly Atlanta, is getting a legitimate franchise cornerstone for years to come. For my money, Rhyne Howard had the biggest breakout of anyone in the WNBA this year, and she's only 25 years old. The scary part? She's probably still getting better. So yeah, 5 players who genuinely leveled up in 2025. Kate Martin showed she belongs in this league when she actually gets real opportunity and real minutes. NaLyssa Smith found her home in Vegas after bouncing around and got a championship ring out of it. Rickea Jackson proved to everyone paying attention that she's a future all-star. Kamilla Cardoso became a dominant two-way center who can anchor a franchise. And Rhyne Howard finally played like the #1 pick everybody expected her to be from day one. 2026 is going to be really interesting. All of these players are going to have even bigger roles. Some might switch teams in free agency. The league's going to look different. But the foundation these 5 built in 2025? That's not going anywhere. That's real development. That's real growth. Who do you think had the biggest breakout this year? Did I miss somebody obvious? Let me know in the comments. I actually read them. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next one. I'll catch you there.